Welcome back to the podcast, everyone. Today I'm with a Seattle-based artist and producer. He works closely with Lorelai, who's actually she was one of the first guests on the podcast.
Oh, really?
And now I've actually heard about you through her like 2 years ago. I was like, who the fuck is... Okay, basically my guest is Samurai Dell. Shout out Samurai Dell. But I was like, who the fuck is Samurai Dell? But when I first started the podcast, I was like, oh yeah, I know that guy.
Hey, it might have been an honest thing. Like, you feel like everybody knows each other, so it's a wild guess.
Let's start from the very beginning with you, because like you've done a few interviews, but I feel like there's no like cohesive timeline for you.
No, yeah, the ones I sent you was from 2016, and that one, the newest one's from earlier this year. But yeah, it is pretty crazy to like, cause I went and kind of watched a little of the old one, and I was just in this completely different place, and it's just interesting to see that.
And now you're here on the NAST pod. You're part of the NAST community now. So let's start from the basics. Were you born and raised in Seattle?
No, I'm from the Tri-Cities.
Oh.
So I was born in Pasco and grew up in Kennewick. So that's how I know like Mr. DC and
Dave Cheney now.
Yeah, Dave Cheney. I still know him as Crunk Batman. That was his first name. And then Justin Frick and Nobi and all those guys.
Karma.
Yeah, Karma too. And then I moved to Spokane. So I lived in Spokane for high school, and that's where I really started to make music. And I started rapping back in like my freshman year. I messed around with it, like with my friends, just fucking around back in the Tri-Cities. But
wait, how far away is the Tri-Cities from Spokane?
It's like 2.5 hours, not far at all.
And then it's just a little bit more east.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Like it's like, yeah, Tri-Cities is like central Washington, and there's nothing going on out there.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever been up there, honestly.
To Spokane? Or
I've been to Spokane, but not the Tri-Cities.
Yeah, basically Tri-Cities is just, the whole town was built on making the bomb, Hanford. That they dropped
shit, I have been there actually.
On Hiroshima. And now it's pretty much the whole economy is based on cleaning it up, which it will never be cleaned up. But yeah, I mean, that's my hometown. I don't like to claim it too much because it's a shitty place, but yeah.
That's crazy. I went there for a this is craziness. I was like a sophomore in high school, and I was in wrestling, and basically we had like a wrestling tournament in the Tri-Cities, and people in the Tri-Cities and just Eastern Washington take fucking wrestling too seriously, because what else are they gonna do in the fucking bumfuck nowhere? But basically, to go to Hanford, because it was like Hanford High School or some shit they were going to.
Yeah.
Like, we literally needed to sign, like, release forms saying that if we get radioactivity on us or something,
really?
that our parents understand that that's what's going to happen.
That is wild. I did not know that. Yeah, I mean, it's wild. Like, there's that, and then the Richland High School, their mascot's still a mushroom cloud.
Yeah. Poor taste.
Heavily debated out there, but yeah.
So, you started rapping in high school in Spokane,
and
when did you start producing?
So to even go back farther, I started playing guitar when I was in 6th grade.
Ooh.
And just fell in love with, make like rock and like I didn't listen to rap at all until I was like in 7th or 8th grade. No, 7th grade.
Do you know the first rap song you listened to was?
I mean, I listened, like I knew about rap. It wasn't like I was like, oh my God, what is this? But like I didn't know, like my mom and dad, like I think it's a little different about me. Is like I know a lot of producers and other musicians that their family put them onto so much cool stuff. My mom just kind of listened to whatever.
Right.
But then my uncle was super into music, and he had like a wall of CDs. And I went over there one day, and I was like, hey, I want to start listening to rap, and I didn't know where to start. And this was like, I wasn't allowed to use LimeWire because my dad was an IT guy, and he knew how bad it was for your computer. Anyways, but yeah, he gave me 3 CDs. He gave me Straight Outta Compton, 2001, and a Young Jock CD. But I never listened to the Young Jock one because I was so obsessed with 2001 and Straight Outta Compton, and yeah. And then what really got me, then in 8th grade, I discovered Wu-Tang.
Ooh.
Yeah. And we got the tattoo right here. This is...
Have you seen the new show yet?
I haven't seen the show. I've been watching the documentary. I've been hearing the show's like good, but also like the acting can be, so I don't know. I haven't really dived into it, but to make an opinion myself. But yeah, and then I found Wu-Tang and started rapping after that, and then I started producing. Cause I used to work with this guy in Spokane. His name was Corbin Cooey, but he I made a whole mixtape and peddled it at school for fucking $10. And people like, then I heard, I was listening to All Day Trey's interview.
All Day Trey.
Yeah, and we had very similar things where people weren't doing that, like just rapping, and it wasn't taken seriously like it is now, where everybody makes music. Yeah, so I got a lot of shit, and I was very arrogant, so that's the only reason I'm still doing it, because people would like tell me I suck and blah blah blah. But if I didn't have that, fuck you, I'm gonna keep doing this, I wouldn't have kept going. But yeah, I mean, I got to the point that I just was getting tired of having somebody else do my beats. I wanted to have more control,
right? And
started making beats in 2010, my freshman or my sophomore year.
What software are you using?
I was using an MPD 32. This is like the drum machine, and I used that with Reason 5 that I torrented. Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
Back on the 2001 thing, that was probably like one of the first albums I know of, at least. I was like all instrumental. Like when they released the album and then they had like a 2001 instrumental.
The instrumental. That was super dope.
I wonder how many kids like were obsessed with the instrumental CD.
Oh, I'm sure a lot. I don't think my CD had the instrumentals. I didn't have it. I'm assuming it's a deluxe version.
Yeah.
But I just had just the straight one. But I literally listened to that front to back so many times.
Hell yeah. My first experience with hip hop, I didn't realize it was hip hop until looking back. I guess it was hip hop. Will Smith's album Born to Reign. I guess he was a fucking hip hop artist. I think people forget that.
Yeah, I mean that was one of my first introductions was Big Willie style.
Oh god.
With my dad.
Big Willie. And then I think the first like actual like explicit album I ever listened to, man, it was a YG's Crazy Life album. That was like the first album I ever bought. And I was like in 6th grade when that came out or something like that.
Yeah, I had the Fast and Furious soundtrack at one point, but I had to get the edited version.
Do they even still is clean music still a thing?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can buy clean versions on iTunes still, I think.
I wonder if that's fading out though. I know some rappers don't even put out clean versions of their albums.
Yeah, there's no point. I don't really see the point of it. I mean, unless you have to do it for radio edits if you want to be played on the radio, but yeah, there's no point in really putting those out.
I feel like we go through like waves. Like Sex, like in the 1970s, was probably like on a PG movie, you know. And then there's R, and then like you weren't allowed to swear on TV.
Yeah.
But now you can just say whatever the fuck you want on TV.
Yeah, most of the time, yeah.
And now that we're kind of leaning away from radio stations, I wonder if clean music's gonna start fading out because of that. Versus like if you're just making a song that doesn't swear, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't know. That's a good Question. I have no idea. It might, because I know I don't listen to the radio anymore, really.
I my phone died today when I was driving. I was like, you know what? Like, I guess supposedly, it's not like a big thing, but like, I guess it's like good to just sit in silence sometimes, you know?
Yeah.
But that's a thing people should do, right? Meditate.
That's how you know you're having a bad day, when you drive home with no music on.
But for me, I listen to music, and I listen to so much though, that but some of the songs, like I have like favorite songs I listen to over and over, and then those songs become like a meditation where like a certain like drop or like a certain lyric, it will spark something that happened earlier in my day, and I'll start thinking about that. So like it becomes like white noise for me.
Yeah.
But my phone died, and like I was driving through the woods because I live in Snohomish in the woods, so like that's like a 15-minute period that I have to drive through the woods before I hit a fucking city.
Damn.
So I was just listening. There was like, I turned on the radio for a second. I was like, you know what? Fuck it. My phone's dead. I'll just let it charge for those 15 minutes in the woods. Turned on the radio, and I just forgot how terrible the radio is. It's like,
yeah, and you got to deal with commercials, and the commercials are probably the most horrendous part.
The static's the most horrendous part.
Yeah. Well, I was working on a food cart back in 2017 or 18.
Ooh.
Both years, actually. But I would bring a speaker so I could listen to my own music, but yeah, they had selected radio stations we had to use, and it was just, especially what's that one, the old school, like hip hop and R&B.
103.7.
Yeah. They play the same shit, and and that was one of the better selections we had, but yeah, I can't do radio anymore.
Yeah. Radio hosts I don't even know what the point of being a radio host is anymore. Like, that was something I really wanted to do.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a dying thing because of streaming. just like albums are dying too because of streaming. Just it's killing a lot of things. But
I think the first time I realized that albums were kind of dying out was when Drake made that playlist album, but he just called it a playlist. What was that? Was it More Life?
I think so. I don't know.
And he was like,
or the Scorpion.
Oh, that was craziness.
I don't know.
I was some of my friends think that was one of his better albums, though.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't really listen to, like, I like his new album actually, but I've never really.
It had some solid. I mean, I feel like that's how every Drake album is.
Yeah.
Other than Take Care and everything before Take Care, I'm really into. And I mean, even
Thank Me Later was good, and So Far Gone was dope.
Yeah. I think where I kind of stopped caring as much was when what's that one with the diamonds on it?
The diamonds on it.
And it's got Future and
oh, What a Time to Be Alive.
Yeah. I felt I started not caring as much anymore. My taste started changing too at that point.
What music do you listen to now? I
still listen to a good amount of hip hop, but I'm kind of like an old head in that regard still. Like I was in 8th grade listening to Wu-Tang, like I was telling you. So it's like for a long time I was not into anything new. Right. I thought it was shit. I was like, this isn't real hip hop, blah, 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 blah. Everything, and then a bad example is when like when Lil Pump first came out, I was like, this is fucking stupid. But then I realized that music doesn't have to always be introspective and deep and meaningful. Like sometimes it can just be ignorant and fun, and that's where a lot of things changed for me. But yeah, I listen to like a lot of electronic music, like house and other electronic stuff, but now I don't keep up as much with like the new hip hop people, like all the Lil people and all these random names. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's still some really good shit out there.
Griselda. I just see all the older people love Griselda. They're like, that's a new hip, because they're not. Griselda's actually not even a new hip hop group. They just recently got the shine they deserved, though. But I love when people are like, yeah, I'm listening to Griselda. I'm like, okay, good.
I'll check. Who is that? I've never heard of that.
You don't know Griselda?
No.
You know, like West Side Gun or Benny the Butcher or Conway the Machine.
Yeah. So I know West Side Gun and Benny the Butcher. But again, this is just music I don't listen to as much anymore.
Because you're just into EDM.
I wouldn't say like, I mean, yeah. But I don't listen to like Paradiso EDM. I mean,
Paradiso.
But I do at the same time. Okay. I'm trying to think of
that's a festival in Washington for people who don't know. EDM festival.
Yeah, I'm not into like the fairy, like sugary coated pop dubstep shit. That's not me.
Is dubstep even a thing anymore?
Yeah, it was like yeah, it's still alive and well.
I really wish I could beatbox.
That'd be sick. There's some pretty crazy like dubstep beatboxers on YouTube out there.
Yeah, it's all over like Instagram right now too.
Yeah.
But I don't really know a lot of EDM artists. I guess like I know Dylan France. Do you know Dylan Francis?
Yeah.
But is he like a basic guy?
I mean, he has some good stuff. It's definitely not my. I mean, if he was like at a festival and he was playing, I'd go see it. But it's not like something I'm gonna go see him at the Showbox for or something like that.
Or I know Bauer. Is it?
Yeah, Bauer's tight. I mean,
and R.L. Grime. I think everyone likes him.
Yeah, I used to really be into that, like R.L. Grime, like EDM trap kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Where it wasn't necessarily dubstep, but it was still heavy and fun. But yeah, I mean, this past like few years, I've just gotten really into house music. And
do you know the artist, or you just know the sounds?
Like big people like John Summit, Deeper Purpose, Armand Van Helden, Chris Lake. There's a lot of them. Yeah.
So how does someone know if a new EDM song has come out? Because it's just literally like noises, So like, how could you know if it's an EDM song from 2021 or from 2000?
You can tell because there's trends in all music, but you can tell the era and you can tell the sounds that are used and the style but yeah, I mean, there's still some super crazy forward thinking stuff that comes out, which I was really trying to do at one point. That's kind of like where I'm weird with my music is I don't have one sound because I get really bored doing one sound, and I do multiple styles well. Like I can do R&B, I can do like heavy electronic, I can do house, I can do like just straight boom bap hip hop, and like it's stuff like with Lorelai. Like that was a lot of fun because I was not into pop music at all.
Right.
Up until like 2000, I didn't even like electronic music until 2015.
Did you have like some crazy awakening or just?
Yeah, I went to Sasquatch.
I took Molly at Sasquatch and I
did
found God.
take Molly at Sasquatch and saw Subtract, and I was just like, because I just always looked at EDM artists as just being someone who presses play on, which was so wrong, but like that's just how I saw it, because I was such like, this is real music, blah blah blah. But then I saw Subtract, and this guy has like, he had a drummer, someone playing piano, singing, had like 20 synths on stage, like he was doing shit.
Damn.
And I was like, I realized like it can be so much more than I thought it was, and that's what I kind of went after, and what I still do is I just wanted to do like the live set stuff, and I also do DJ sets too.
Ooh, do you go to clubs?
Yeah, like I've played like at Q, and I've multiple times. I did. It just depends. Like Q is a great place. Like, I'm wanting to do more DJ sets, and I'm still trying to break into that. It's a very, especially here in Seattle.
Can you be my DJ mentor?
If you want, man, I can show you some things.
Dude, working at 92.5, I had a DJ mentor, and then the pandemic hit, and then we just lost contact.
Yeah, I can show you some stuff, man. It takes a while to get to figure out, and I mean, I sucked for a long time, like with anything.
Yeah, like DJing, I feel like all the DJ people that I know, I guess even the ones who like work at the station or whatever, they're like, yeah, I just learned on my own. But I'm like, how the fuck? Because how do you even know if you're doing something right when you're DJing on your own? It's just like I get lost in liking the music versus.
I mean, for when I first started, I didn't know what the fuck a transition was. I just thought if the songs blended together, that'd be fine.
Yeah.
But then I realized after I played at Q for the first time, I opened for Toki Monster, and they told me like, bro, your transitions are bad.
Ew.
And I didn't realize that. And ever since then, because I used to just freestyle, but I just don't DJ enough, because that's the problem with being a producer. And if you want it, like there's two routes. You either do behind the scenes stuff, where you're just making beats for people and getting placements and whatnot, and that's great.
Yeah.
I like performing, and like when I was a rapper, I like being in front of people. So that was when I figured out that I could do that as a producer. That's what I really went after.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I do live sets, and those are fun too. And those are a lot more involved, where I play only originals, and I play like guitar and bring people out and whatnot. And then I do the DJ sets too. So I still love DJing for people. It's a lot of fucking fun.
It is so fun. I feel like it's been heartbreaking for me to like realize one song that I love does not work with another song at all. I'm like, oh my God, that's so.
And that's the beauty. That's the beautiful thing about house music, is it's really easy to mix. Comparative to hip hop is a nightmare, because like you can figure it out, but to freestyle is really tough, because like the drums are always different, whereas with house music it's just 4 to the floor, same beat, so it's a lot easier to mix in. But that being said, we have to figure out how to make your transition spicy, and then you have your
there's like so many different transitions too, and they're like
you can, and then it gets even crazier. I mean, like, I'm not saying I'm like any that great, because there's people that use 4 CDJs and like have acapella going here, a mix over here, and that's a lot.
Have you tried it before? It turns into a fucking train wreck. Like, it's I've tried that shit.
I don't have access to 4 CDJs. That's fucking expensive.
Oh shit, you can borrow my stuff.
Do you have CDJs?
Yeah, I actually I have been invested in so much stuff that I really love to do, but like I live in the woods, so no one can like, hey, let's do shit together.
You just gotta find people to mix with. Like, I just mix for fun with some homies a lot of the time.
Bro, I'll bring my stuff over. I have like, it's all like, ever since starting the podcast, it's always been about like compatibility and like being able to like pick something up and go to the next place. So like everything I own that has to do with like anything music is able to be picked up. Like, I have fucking like briefcases with my shit in it, and like they're heavy as fuck, but.
Yeah, it's worth it. They're fun to have, especially if you have a full setup like that. So
it's so dope. So you started producing and you were rapping in high school, and then what happened once you graduated high school?
I graduated and my mom kicked me out.
Uh-oh.
I mean, I was 18, so I mean, it was whatever.
What's your ethnicity, by the way?
I'm Mexican and Puerto Rican.
Oh, I thought Mexican and Puerto Rican want their family super close. And just...
Well, me and my mom butted heads a lot in high school. I mean, you think about it. I think about it now. It's like you just have this kid that he mooches off you for 18 years and is ungrateful.
Damn.
Our relationship's a lot better, like way better now ever since I moved out.
And they want to rap. Like, what?
Yeah.
Get the fuck out.
Exactly. I mean, she wanted me to like go to college and whatnot, and it wasn't for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, had to move back to the Tri-Cities, and I was trying to go to school there for a little bit because I wanted to do graphic design.
Oh, shit. I'm into graphic design. Dude,
Yeah.
we're so much alike.
That's awesome. But yeah, man, like I wanted to do that, and I just needed to get prereq stuff, so I was there. I did it for a quarter though, and I hated it. And
Really?
then, yeah, I got fired from my job down there.
What were you doing?
I was a line cook at a fancy artisan pizza place in Kennewick. But yeah, and then I lost my job, and then my dad lived here. My family situation is complicated because I lived with one dad down in the Tri-Cities, and then I had another dad over here.
Got it.
And then my mom was in Spokane. But anyways, my dad. I was talking to my dad. I was like, I want to move to Seattle because like I was always in Spokane because there's the hip hop scene's like not that great. It's gotten a little bit better. Still nothing compared to Seattle.
It's got a lot of SoundCloud artists.
Yeah. I mean, there's some good people out there like Django and All Day Trey and some other folks, but I always looked at Seattle because I was obsessed with Blue Scholars and old Macklemore and
When he was Professor Macklemore.
I don't know if not that far back, but like Wings era and stuff like that, and brothers from BFA and Soul especially.
Oh, he's about to perform at Showbox.
Yeah, that's the cool thing about Soul. Is like me and Soul work together now, and we have songs together, and like we text each other. But like I was in high school, like mowing the lawn to his music.
Damn.
And yeah, so I moved over here in 2014, and I was still rapping at the time, and mostly still producing. But yeah, I just started trying to network. I did a lot of networking back then.
Like you'd go to concerts, or how'd you network?
They're like, I remember Raz Simone had some video shoot, and I went out to that, and then I met up with like Campana. You know Campana?
Yeah, he's been on the podcast.
Yeah, so I knew Campana and Shelton Harris because I don't remember how I found Shelton, but I sent him some beats and he used one, and then met Campana through that. I lived with him at one point too.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, so I got started networking through that way when I first moved here. But yeah, I wouldn't say I went to shows and went just like trying to like talk with people and whatnot. I would try sometimes.
Where do you like artists hang out?
I don't know. It's a good question. That's what I love about going to shows and performing with homies, is because we all go kick it in the green room and whatnot. But yeah, so I moved here to do that, and then I got to the point with my rapping where if I came to myself, because my beats were still like just kept going up and up, but I felt like my rapping was stuck in a.
And when did you start when producing? Was it mostly boom bap when you first started, or how did
it was all? I was pretty much making like Ninth Wonder ripoffs for 4 years.
Got it.
And Jay Dilla ripoffs. Yeah, and then it just got to the point where if I came to myself for a beat, if I was a rapper and I came to me for a beat, I would say no to myself.
Oh.
So I had to come to grips. That was really hard to come to grips with because I loved being in front of people, and that's probably what I liked about it most, was performing for people.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm saying. When I found that I could do that as a producer, that changed everything for me. So it's like, okay, I can still be in front of people and perform for people, but not do shitty raps anymore.
Damn. So did someone have to tell you, or just musically?
I just knew.
Learn?
I knew. I could hear it. And I just had to come to. I remember I was talking to Confounder one day. I was like, I think I just need to just do beats. And he's like, yeah, it's perfectly fine. Like, I think you're a really good producer. And so yeah.
Damn. And what year was that when you officially started?
2014.
Okay.
Yeah, at some point. Yeah.
So 2014, and then you just completely switched to being a producer.
Mm-hmm.
And then what happened after that?
That's when I started I was making mixtapes, and then I started making beat tapes.
Oh, okay.
And I used to rap under Delphonic. That was my.
That's your email.
Yeah, that's my old rap name. But I loved how Mac Miller had Larry Fisherman as his producer name, so I decided to split the two. So I was rap under Delphonic and produce under Samurai Del, and the Del comes from Delphonic.
Okay.
And I was just super into Samurai Jack at the time.
Oh,
yeah. I'm not saying I haven't watched it in a really long time, but I remember growing up, I loved it so much. But yeah, so that's where the name came from. But
I binged that show during the pandemic.
did you?
Yeah.
I have a hard time watching old shows.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
It's a good one, actually. It actually holds up pretty well, especially because it's animated.
Yeah, exactly. I might have to give it another run. But yeah, in 2000, then I was making beat tapes, and then in 2000, I want to say 14 as well, I released my first album.
Okay.
There was like 20 songs on there, and my whole thing was I wanted it to be half beats, so it was 10 beats and then 10 full songs with vocalists on it, and that's kind of what started me making projects with vocalists, and then I moved on to work with Mr. Dave Shanae after that, and we made this project EP called Mr. Samurai. Ooh. And that was after I went to Sasquatch, and
which is no longer a festival.
Yeah, rest in peace. But got really into electronic music after that, and we made a whole there's some really housey electro songs on there, but that was my first time like making a cohesive project, and it's kind of that doesn't sound bad. It's not similar, but it's kind of like when Kanye did Graduation. That was such a huge shift from what he was doing.
Right.
He all of a sudden was like super electronic. And,
so you're basically Kanye West.
No. So the arc is similar in that regard. Then I put that out, and then that's when I just really started. I was going to school up until 2015 at Seattle Central for web design.
Okay.
For graphic design, and they turned me down 3 times, the graphic design department.
Why? What'd you do?
I can't draw. That's the thing. I'm really good with because I make a lot of my album artwork, but I'm really good with typography.
Okay.
Like at least just selecting the right fonts, having good taste.
So you're really into fonts, huh?
Yeah, and like formatting how I want them to look. I don't do so every time I do something, I will have somebody else do the actual artwork, and then I'll do how I want the layout to be.
Dude, I love fonts too.
Yeah, but they shut me down 3 times, and then they were like, I asked on the second time, I was like, what am I doing wrong? And the guy's like, such an asshole. He's like, we don't give feedback. And I was like, I understand this is like, you need to get into this, but I'm trying to go to school to learn this. So I was like, what am I doing wrong? He just like snatches my paper out of my hand, and he's like, well, this is basic and blah, 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 blah. And then, so I tried again, they shut me down again, and I was like, fuck this. And then I remember talking to my mom, I was like, well, I don't know what I'm going to do. I came here to do graphic design because she always had instilled in me to have a backup plan.
Right.
She didn't really fully believe in the music stuff for a really long time, up until like 2015. But then she's like, well, maybe you just do music.
Oh.
And then I was like, I can't do that. I don't know. You told me to always have a plan B. And so I did web design for a little bit, but then I dropped out because I don't know if you know him. His name's Dylan Fout. He did a lot of, it's also fuck catchphrase on Instagram.
Okay.
But he does like a lot of video he did a lot of Travis Thompson's first videos and whatnot. But he was over living at TJ's, and I went over there at Campana. I went over there, and he's like, why are you going to school? I was like, oh, to have a plan B. And he said to me, if you have a plan B, it means you don't fully believe in your plan A. And then I was just like,
and I was on Molly again.
Yeah, and then I dropped out that day.
Damn.
And I haven't looked back. And yeah, that's when I decided just to go all in with music, and I grinded for making beats like literally every day. And then 2016 I made my first album, like full length album.
What's the name of that?
Hodgepodge. Yeah. And I probably a year and a half. When I first moved here, I didn't have a lot of friends, and everyone goes through the same shit when they first move here. It takes so long to meet people.
Yeah.
And it's even harder when you don't go to school on top of that. And even Seattle Central is like a community college vibes are not great, especially in the web design classes. Everybody was like 30 and I'm 19. Anyway, but yeah, so I didn't have a lot of friends, so I just made beats all the time. And it was depressing, but I leveled up.
Just cried.
Yeah, making an album is a fucking struggle. But yeah, I did that for 2.5 years where I was just head down every single day, which is good and it's not good at the same time because it causes burnout,
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like you got to find a way to balance your time because you still should go out and do stuff and live your life.
Yeah.
That whole fucking grind mentality that people are not as talking about it as much, I feel like, because everyone's like, this grind mentality is stupid. Like, yeah, you should definitely do what you need to do and get your shit done, but you shouldn't completely dedicate your whole every hour to it, because it's not healthy for you, and it wasn't healthy for me. But that album came out and it opened a lot of doors for me, and that's when I really started, because I remember I made a goal in 2017 to play a show a month, because I was when I first started like doing gigs and doing like night shift DJ nights and whatnot.
How'd you get into doing a DJ gig? Like, did you have to know the right person, or how does that work?
Yeah, I mean, that's what the opening the doors. I just sent my mixtape or my album to Q, the person who was running it, and they liked it, and that was the first gig I played at Q. I opened for Toki Monsta, and I was hooked after that, because it was just like playing music for all these people. And then the whole time, like once I put the album out, my whole plan was to build my live set, and I've taught myself everything. There's no like templates out there. I think there is now, but at the time I had to like completely figure out how to make the template for my Ableton live set. And yeah, I played my first show at my first headliner. No, actually my second headliner. My first headliner was at the Vera Project in 2016, and 4 people were there.
Shout out the Vera Project.
Yeah, and they were all my homies. And then fast forward to 2017, I was at the Sunset Tavern, and it was basically sold out. And I remember they were sketching me out. They emailed me. They're like, hey, you've only sold 30 tickets. We need you to. And I was like, I've been going around fucking town, putting up fucking flyers and doing all this marketing. And I was like, 30 people. I went into the night thinking that nobody was going to be there. And then all of a sudden we just had like almost 200 people pull up. And,
because you had a name at a time, or just marketed it well, or how did that?
It was walk-ups. People were just like, they heard it from the street. And they came in, and it was me. Who else? Who all was? I think Jamie Blake. But Paris Alexa came out and like sang out, because she's on that album, and she came out and sang. And I had Mr. DC come out. Pretty much everybody that was on the project came out and performed with me.
That's dope.
Yeah, it was really cool. And then after that, I just kept putting. I haven't had that was the most success I've had from a project, which it's great, but I've been chasing that since then.
Maybe it's just because marketing's changed also.
I think it was also just the peak SoundCloud era. So I used to get hella plays on SoundCloud, and that was like the era where people were doing hella remixes and whatnot. And
you have a few remixes.
Yeah, I love doing remixes. That's like my favorite shit ever is doing remixes. I don't do them as much as I want. I also think it's kind of declined ever since SoundCloud has just died, really. People still get played. If you get a lot of plays on SoundCloud, that's really impressive at this point, because the listenership has just tanked since 2016, 2017. But yeah, I think that was like the peak of that kind of sound. But yeah, and then finally I put out an album in 2020.
Yeah, with Lorelai.
Yeah, and she's on that one. And that one was trimmed down just to 8 songs. My first album was 14 songs. But it was just way more cohesive. Like, I keep growing as an artist, and I'm still flexing the versatility I have, because I do believe that there's not a lot of people that have that are able to make different styles and do it well. That's what I really looked up to Mr. Carmack. You know who that is?
I do not.
Yeah, he's an EDM guy.
He's from Seattle or outside of Seattle?
He's from Honolulu, but he's like on part of Selection, that kind of that crew. Peak SoundCloud era too, but yeah, he's a legend and just pioneered so much of the sound. But he's extremely versatile, and I don't know. I really respect people that want to do more than just one sound, and I understand having a sound, and I'm sure it's hurting me a little bit.
How do you describe your sound right now then?
It goes, like I said, it goes all over the place. I have a song I just finished with Bammer from Tacoma, and it's like a pop punk,
pop punk's back also.
So yeah, like pop punk, like hip hop mashup, basically. And I made that beat in November, and I was like, what the fuck am I gonna do with this? And I sat on it and I sent it to him, and then when we finished it. So it's kind of cool. Music can, you make an idea and like, this is stupid, and then months later it turns into something. But yeah, and do a lot of house music. That's my thing. And with Lorelai, that project that's finally got some traction. That was the most traction I've had in a while.
Hey, let's talk about Lorelai. How did you meet Lorelai? Because I started the podcast 2 years ago, and so 2 years ago, that's how she had already known you, and she was bringing you up. So I'm guessing you met her longer than 2 years.
Yeah, I think it was probably 2019 or maybe late 2018.
Okay.
But yeah, I was just on Instagram and I saw Jake Crocker posted a video. He was like at some show and Lorelai was singing.
Wow.
And I was like, oh, so I went and looked her up and she had like nobody, like not a lot of songs out yet. And I just liked her sound and I hit her up and I was like, hey, we should try working. And she came over and we tried to do something, but nothing came out of it. And then we didn't try again for a long time. And then I just had this beat that I made for Dave Chenet that he wrote to it and then stopped writing to it. So I was just sitting on this beat and I liked it. So I sent it to her and then she sent me back Forgive Me, which is off that project and that whole video. And I was like, wow, this is like really fucking good. Let's finish this. And then, yeah, the rest is history. And like, I just thought that song was so great. And she's such a good songwriter and vocalist, performer. So I was like, we should do an EP, and because I haven't done like a collaborative EP with somebody, another artist, since I did the one with Mr. DC.
Mr. Samurai.
Yeah, Mr. Samurai. So it was really fun to do that, and I just felt like our sounds really meshed together well, and she does a really good job. And yeah, it was like that was my first jump into pop, like straight pop music.
Right.
Because again, I was not into pop music for a really long time. I mean, my first Hodgepodge had some poppy elements to it, but it was still not pop, I would say.
Right.
But yeah, I just wanted to make something with her that I could have my own sound, because there's still like elements that are very hip hop and are true to myself, but it still has the pop element to it. That
Donut Slap. That was.
Yeah, that's the one that's doing the best. And I made that beat for Mr. DC and Soul, and then nothing came out of it, and so I just finished it with Lorelai.
Is that the first song you worked on with Soul, or how many songs do you have with?
We've met up a couple times and tried doing stuff, but nothing's ever came to fruition.
What happens when that, like, what happened? You go to the studio and you guys just
you just throw stuff at the wall and hope something sticks, and yeah, it just takes a while sometimes.
Right.
Because I remember we first linked up in 2017 or 18, I think. 2018.
Wow. 3 years.
Yeah, and then finally because we made that beat and he liked it a lot, but Dave Chenet was just not having a hard time writing to it. And I sat on it for a long time because I was hoping he was going to use it, because I've been wanting to work with David for a long time. Just nothing's come out of it yet, so we're going to have to try again soon.
You got it.
Yeah, but yeah, so then she did a really good job with it and sent it to Soul, and he threw his verse on there, and it's a rap. And then we got Dave B. She really wanted to work with Dave B, and I've been wanting. Song too. Yeah, because I made a beat for Dave B in my senior year in 2013.
Oh shit!
I found him. I just found a YouTube video of him. So I don't remember how I stumbled upon it, but I was like, wow, this guy's super dope. And I sent him this beat when I was a senior in high school. He sent it back the next day, and it was called Galaxy Defenders. But he performed it a lot. Like, it was supposed to be on this project he never put out, but he put a video for it, and I was like, wow, I want to keep working with you. And I did a couple of remixes for him that are on SoundCloud, but nothing else, actually us working together hasn't come to fruition until now. So that took, how long is that? It's like 14, 15, 16, 17, 7 years now.
That's crazy.
As you can see, I'm not good with head numbers. Math.
But yeah, he started popping off around the same time Macklemore, right? Like, Macklemore took him on tour, right?
I think so, if I remember correctly. But yeah, I mean, 2013, that was really when he started getting some recognition. I mean, that was when the eyes were just on Seattle, I feel like, for a while. I mean, you had Macklemore and Blue Scholars and BFA, like, I knew them all the way from Spokane, so that says something.
I had one of my previous guests, Boathouse. He's out of Chicago. I think I actually learned about Dave B, because I didn't really know there was a music scene until like 2019.
Oh, in Seattle?
Yeah,
Oh.
because I was just doing my own thing being in school.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm still learning about a lot of artists. I'm lucky enough that a lot of artists like to be on the podcast, so I'm learning a lot that way. But I didn't know who Dave B was until I listened to Boathouse's project, Closed Sessions. I don't know if you know that.
I remember, or maybe it's the song was just called Boathouse, but it was like Soul and Dave B.
No, Boathouse is from Chicago.
Yeah.
And Boathouse, Dave B was just in Chicago for whatever reason, and it was supposed to be like a record label project. And then Dave B just came to their studio one day, and he happened to be on their record label project. I forget the song. It's called is it the Whiskeys? It might be a Whiskey and Push Up song. I forget.
Damn, I don't know.
It was a dope song.
That's awesome.
But yeah, I'm still learning a lot about the artists here, but there's so many, so I'm happy you're able to be on here too.
Well, I appreciate you bringing me out, man. But yeah, there's a lot of people here, and there's a lot of, I think Seattle's been going through a renaissance for the past few years. There's a lot of dope artists here, and I feel like people feel like they have to step on each other here, or step over each other at least.
Yeah.
Because I feel like there's only so many opportunities, and it is kind of true. But you could say that about any fucking city and everywhere. with that kind of vibe. But
we have the chance to change that. I feel like there's so many cool artists and genres here that they just need to start blending together more.
Yeah, exactly. That's the one thing in Seattle. We don't have I wouldn't say we have a sound. We did at one point. I think like in 2014, 2012, like that. It was just very uppity and you know what I'm talking about, like
Macklemore. That's what you're talking about.
Like that kind of stuff. I mean, everybody did it. Like even like Shelton Harris, like was like very upbeat, and I just feel like now there's so many different styles, which is awesome. I think there's crazy amounts of different. We even have our house scene wasn't that popping here. Like when you think about house, like houses was really popping in San Francisco, New York, Chicago, those places, but Seattle was never really had that, but it's definitely been blowing up here just because I think house has just been getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah, there's a lot of house shows. That's probably like one of the main shows that's going on in Seattle, I feel like.
Exactly. So it's gained popularity, and everybody loves house music because it's fun.
You can do drugs to it or not. You can be sober and probably have fun too, right?
Yeah, partake in some extracurriculars, but yeah, no, it's fun, man. I love the music in that genre, and I love making it. It's just a good time.
Do you see a new genre of sound coming out, or?
I feel like there's always new sounds coming out. I also feel like there's a lot of resurgence.
Pop punk.
Yeah, like that, and house music has come with a resurgence too. But as far as like new styles, I can't really think of anything at the top of my head. But it is always really refreshing when like a new artist comes out and is like doing something unique. Like Baby Keem, his new album is amazing.
It was definitely interesting. I'm still trying to understand where he fits.
Yeah,
it's so
exactly.
different.
It is. That's what I love. It's like that's why I feel like there's artists that come through with just a unique take on a sound, and
definitely can't compare him to anyone.
Yeah, exactly.
Very true. That's interesting. That's so dope though that like you saw something in Lorelai and just decided to work with her, because like I think she's like my age. So when you probably met her, she was probably like 17 or something, right?
Yeah, she might even been 16 or 17.
So you really saw something in her. That's awesome.
Yeah, I heard that vocal. I mean, at first I was like, oh, we tried to make something together and it didn't work out. But then, yeah, she sent that back, and I remember I was kind of fucked up at the lake, and I put it up to my ear, and I was like, oh shit! Like I was like, wow, this is actually like really really good, and yeah.
So did you guys continue to talk during that time, or did you take a break until this newest project, or?
Yeah, I mean, we still continued to talk. We did a music video together, and then she was supposed to perform, because this was 2019, so she was supposed to perform at my album release. I was supposed to be at Barboza in April of last year, and that got canceled, obviously.
Why? I wonder why. I see these people wearing masks outside. What are these masks for?
What's going on? But yeah, and then we, that all happened, and I think that it was about that time, April, May of last year, that I was like, we should do an EP together, and we did it.
How do you feel about her living in LA now?
I think it's awesome. I want to move out to LA. I don't know when I'm gonna do it. I'm thinking soon. I also fight myself too, because it's like, I know I'm not gonna live there forever. If I do move there, I'll end up coming back here. But I don't want to look back one day and be like, I wonder what could have happened if I just went there and see what happens.
I think a lot of artists feel that way.
Yeah, because I mean, Seattle's great, man, and obviously with the internet, you can blow up wherever you're from. But just because of how saturated everything is right now, it's hard. Music's hard.
And I feel like everyone wants that dream of like just walking down the street and some random exec just sees you in LA. And is like,
yeah, I used to have a fucking fantasy about that when I was working on a food truck. I'm like, somebody's just gonna come rescue me one day from this goddamn place, but that didn't happen. But yeah, no, I mean, there's just a lot more opportunity in Seattle and in LA, and there's so many dope creatives out there. But it's LA too, so it's like, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I went there for my podcast tour, and I was only there for a week, and I was like, that's enough for me.
I loved it. I like the city, but like honestly, it makes me think like just the water crisis they have down there, like
smog, air pollution.
If shit goes down, the last place I want to be in is in LA. But I mean, like you could say that about up here. It was a fucking earthquake. No, it's supposed to kill us all.
Really?
And, yeah. You don't know about that?
Are you talking about the San Andreas?
The big one. You haven't heard about this?
Wait, tell me about. Maybe I don't.
It's like there's a fault line off the coast that goes from like top. I don't know. It goes hella far.
Right.
Down like through Oregon, past Oregon on the coast, but like in the 1700s, there was a magnitude 9 earthquake that dropped the ground 6 feet. That's how serious it was, and we're like supposedly years overdue for the next one, so it could happen at any time.
Oh my god!
And Seattle's not prepared for it. It's supposed to level Portland and a huge tsunami. Like the tsunami shouldn't hit us because we're so far inland.
Bro, I was surfing in Oregon in June, and driving along the coast. There's like so many signs that says like tsunami warning zone. You just entered it. You just left it. You just entered it. You just left it. I'm like, holy fuck.
Yeah, no, it's not good, but you can't live in fear. I mean, it's like and it's down in LA, you got the San Andreas Fault, so it's like if you don't want any problems with the earth, I guess I don't really know where you can live, because then you got the Midwest, you got tornadoes,
oh my god,
you got hurricanes. And then we have Mount Rainier, so
just move to the moon, I guess.
You can't get away from it. So.
Like, what's the average magnitude of an earthquake? It's like 3, 6.
Like, I mean, that will shake up things. I mean, yeah, we have tiny ones all the time.
We had one during the pandemic, I thought.
Yeah, it was like a magnitude 3 or something. Like I was asleep and I didn't feel it.
Dude, I felt it. I woke because there was one in Cathcart. That's only like 30 minutes away from my house or whatever.
Yeah, I was in Ballard and I didn't feel a shit. So
I was so tired. I woke up. I was like, oh shit, there's an earthquake. And then just went back to sleep. Like I should have been more worried.
Yeah, I'm glad I was asleep, or I probably would have been bugging. I'd be like, is this it? Because that's what I'm saying. You didn't know about the giant earthquake. So if I felt one, I'd be like, this is it.
Oh God. Maybe ignorance is bliss at that point.
Yeah, maybe I shouldn't have told you. You could have been.
I'm going to dream about that all night. That's craziness.
Yeah.
So, do you work with other artists, or is it just Lorelai?
No, yeah, I work with a lot of different. That's what I love to do, is working with new artists and making fresh songs with new people. Like recently, I've worked with Claudia. Yeah.
You don't even know this person's name.
I get it mixed up so many times, but yeah, we have a really cool song. It's like a very acoustic pop.
Oh.
Like that's this year I've been like, I don't know, ever since I put out the project when the whole pandemic happened, I haven't been making a lot of music. I just have not had any inspiration at all.
Dude, you need to tap more into this pop scene.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
Dude, let me help you out. Like, do you know like Anna Thompson yet?
Yeah, I know Anna.
Anna, Nikki Buell, Zane.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like this pop scene is so dope.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm trying to like do that as well as do some more hip hop stuff. But I mean, on my last album, I worked with Perry Porter.
Ooh.
My homie from Minneapolis. His name's Right Groove. I worked with Lorelai. Who else was on that? Kristen Henry, she's from the V, which is like this electronic group. She's really dope. Yeah, just like, and I worked with Alex Cade. Do you know Alex Cade?
I do not.
I'm not sure if he's still living here. I know he's from Detroit. He's been kind of going back and forth, but
Fluency was talking about him, I feel like.
yeah, because they've worked together, I think, before too.
Okay. So there's 3 Alexes. You're an Alex as well. There's too many Alexes here.
But yeah, and then like I remember I put that album out and last year, and I had my whole show fall through, and I was like, I had no way to promote it properly. It just I thought it just went under the rug, and then I wake up on the day after Christmas just hungover as hell, and wake up to the Seattle Times put it at number 15 on the top Seattle albums, and I was like, I didn't even realize that people would even listen to it, because I was like, Is
that off your name or Lorelai's name? Or?
Off my name.
So you do have a name here in Seattle.
Yeah.
You forgot to tell the audience that. You're just making it seem like it's just one shipwreck after another, and you're just
No. I mean, I've built a name. I mean, I'm not gonna say that I'm huge, but I definitely have a presence here, and people know who I am. But that's taken 7 years of living here to get there.
Is it from making those connections, or like do you submit? Like, how do you?
I mean, I'm very tenacious. People expect. This is one thing that people should understand is like, it feels great when somebody hits you up like, hey, you want to do this? Here's a cool opportunity. And it feels amazing because they went out of their way. They know who you are.
Yeah.
But I would say 90% of the cool opportunities I've had have been from me.
You got to make them.
Reaching out, like with shows. Like once I learned my homie from his name's Hunter Motto, and he's a talent buyer at the Crocodile.
Oh.
But he's the first person who took interest in me in 2015. And he started helping me kind of like in a faux managerial way. He was very upfront, like, I'm not gonna be your manager, but I'll help you. Cause I just didn't know how to hit people up. I was like, how do I get shows?
Right.
But yeah, literally, if you see what I would do, and I haven't done it in a while just because they're not booking. If touring acts aren't booking opening acts, local acts really anymore. But yeah, I would see somebody playing, and then I would, if I wanted to open for them or try to, I would email the booking people at said venue, and I'd be like, hey, I'd love to have my name thrown in the hat for openers for this show, and just leave it at that. And then I would either get a yes or a no.
Hey.
Yeah, I mean, it's you shouldn't sit around and wait for opportunities. I mean, I literally got Block Party because I hit the guy up.
That's dope.
Yeah.
So what festivals have you performed at in Seattle? Just Block Party?
I've done Block Party and Upstream Fest.
Okay.
And then I've performed at Showbox, Numos, Crocodile, Q, pretty much everywhere.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. And that's all just from me hitting people up.
So what have you been doing outside of making your project that you released? Like, are you going to any of these shows now?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to go into some shows. Yeah, I'm definitely, the next one I'm going to go to is I'm going to go see Dave Chenet.
Oh, is he performing soon?
Yeah, I think it's at Barboza. And I live on Capitol Hill, so that's easy, just to walk over there. But yeah, I'm definitely trying to go to some more local shows. But I mean, recently I went to Tame Impala, and it just...
Oh, where was that at?
That was at the Gorge.
Oh, yeah, that's insane.
Yeah, that shit was crazy.
Fuck. I wish I went to that.
Yeah, it was amazing. It was mind-blowing. It was just like, I had that ticket. I bought that ticket in December of 2019.
Wow.
And then, yeah. Took 2 years, but it was worth the wait.
Damn. Did you go with friends or by yourself? Or?
Yeah, I went with some homies with a group of people. It was a lot of fun.
That's dope. I've gone to... I like being in groups, but I also like doing stuff on my own. Sometimes if I like a specific artist, and I know if I invite someone, they might want to go because it's a concert, but they might not appreciate the artist or whatever it is, or someone can't come with me. I'll go to a concert by myself. Or
that's admirable. I can't do stuff by myself.
Really?
Like, especially shows. I feel like I've done it like... I've never done it before, but I remember one time I was waiting for my friend to Trinata, and I was by myself for like a good 30 minutes, and I'm just sitting there, I'm like, what do I do with my hands? Like, do I... I overthink it, obviously, but...
I've met so many cool people at concerts I'm like still friends with. You just go by yourself and...
Yeah, I mean, I think the one time I went to a concert by myself was Schoolboy Q in 2014 at Showbox, and just happened to run into people that I knew from Spokane somehow that I went to high school with.
Damn.
Yeah, so
I just happened to run into Schoolboy Q and we just became best
friends. It was
friends.
crazy. That was like, it was Schoolboy, Isaiah Rashad, and I kid you, there was like the capacity at Showbox Market is, or not Showbox Market, Showbox Soto is like 2,000.
Yeah.
And there was probably like 300 people there, 400 people.
Really?
Yeah, it was not packed.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and it was Schoolboy Q and Isaiah Rashad. It kind of blew my mind, but
I went to the champ. Did you hear about the championship tour that happened? That was like
I think so.
2018 or 2017, 2018, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It was all of TDE. So like any of the opening artists were the opening artist was it was like J Rock opened.
Oh wow.
And then it was like J Rock, then Schoolboy Q, then Absol, and then SZA, and then Kendrick.
That's
and then
awesome.
Sir was there too. It was Sir sang the national anthem or something like that. It was crazy.
That's awesome. I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, it was at the White River Amphitheater.
Oh, okay. Now I think I remember. Yeah, now I
Dude,
remember.
that was insane. Have any Seattle artists performed there? Maybe like a Macklemore.
Yeah, I think Macklemore. I can't think of anybody that I know personally or that I can think of off the top of my head that's performed there. I'm sure Soul has been there before and Blue Scholars. I'm assuming not. I don't know.
That's a huge venue.
Yeah.
We're almost done with the Key Arena too. Well, it's Climate Pledge Arena now.
The Climate Pledge Arena.
It's.
Yeah, you should see because I'm doing a monthly at the Crocodile. Our first one is on October 16th.
Oh, what is that? So you're performing monthly there, or how does?
I got asked to curate like a live like a monthly event DJ night there.
Oh shit.
Yeah, but it's in their new space. It's 30,000 square feet. It has a 650 cap room is their main room, which is about 150 people capacity bigger than Numos. So bigger than Numos. And they have a 300 cap room, which we'll be in for our night.
Damn.
And then they have a 12-room hotel in there. They have a movie theater. They have a cocktail bar. It's pretty crazy.
They leveled up.
Yeah, it's massive. So I'm really excited to finally be up in there. I went there and visited it when they were still doing construction, probably like 4 or 5 months ago.
Damn.
So it'll be really cool to see what it looks like now.
What level artist do you have to be to go there now then? It's probably... Because I feel like the Crocodile is more for like up and coming or really small acts.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was like 400 cap, 450 at the old place. And I mean, I performed there multiple times. Yeah, I'm not really sure. They're still bringing out the same people.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say the same people, but like, the regular touring people still come and perform there.
Yeah, I'm seeing IDK there in November.
Oh, really?
He's coming with Rico Nasty, and then
that's dope. I might have to go to that.
Yeah, it's IDK is like one of my favorite artists, and he's such in a weird position where like he's kind of big but also kind of niche at the same time.
Yeah, I would say he's pretty niche too. He's definitely not like a household name,
which is weird because he's been working for so many years, and he can pull like his last project was dope. He had like T-Pain, West Side Gun.
Yeah, no, he's definitely popping. But
yeah,
I mean,
it's just weird like how there's so many different levels to artists.
Yeah, I'm surprised he's not playing like at Soto or Market or something like that.
Yeah, but that's so cool that you're. So do you make most of your money through music right now, or like how does?
No.
Like,
I wish. I still have a day job, fucking
really?
slang insurance at Allstate.
Really?
Yeah,
No. Do you have to wear like I'm thinking of Jacob.
No, I wore this to work.
That'd be funny if you wear like a red and.
Well,
khakis.
I was supposed to, like when I first started working there, I was like, do I need to like get like nice clothes? So I bought a bunch of button ups and chinos because I'm not going to wear slacks and dress shirts, but. Realized after a while I was like he didn't really care what I wore, and I was like nervous about my tattoos, but because it's just like I've been working in food service and retail my whole life, but
yeah.
And then I was in sales, but yeah, it's a day job. It pays well enough. I hate how much time it takes. That was probably the best part about I got laid off last year, and I had like 5 months where I was just making music, and I made as much music in that 5 months as I would have in a year with a job.
Damn.
And yeah, I think that also took my motivation away too, because I had to start working again.
Yeah.
I forgot what it was like to have to make time for it, especially when you're already fucking drained from working 9 to 5, talking to a bunch of people, and
selling insurance. Yeah.
It is what it is. So I mean, what I'm grateful for is it gives me enough money that I can. There's a lot of things I could not afford 4 or 5 years ago that I can buy now. Like I just bought like a new Moog. And I bought a Prophet last year, and I can buy all the plugins I need, and because I've been getting because me and Lorelai's boyfriend mixed
Moses.
Yeah, Moses mixed all of the project together, and I've been really trying to hone in on my engineering skills because I was I used to go to Ruby Room and they would mix all my songs, and that's what I did for 4 years.
Elon's been on the podcast.
Yeah, Elon's the man, dude. Him and Nima, they're responsible for my whole album. They mixed everything and recorded everything. But yeah, I just got to the point where I was tired of not having control, because like I'm very like nitpicky about like things, like certain like tiny little things that you won't even hear or the average listener won't hear. But like I just felt like I needed to just do it on my own.
You gotta be that way, right?
Yeah, and it also saves you a lot of money by not having to pay someone else. So now I just pay people like Matthew, you just had on here.
Matthew Wolk mastering.
Yeah. And I just send my masters there. But yeah, it makes things a lot easier just to mix things yourself. So
hell yeah. So what are your goals for the next 5 years?
Right now, my biggest goal is I just want to be able to live off music. And
do you know the steps for that?
Just getting pop.
No, see, you gotta. You're part of the NAST community. We'll figure this out. See, there's so many ways to make money off music without just thinking you need to be popping to do it.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like playing shows, which is what a lot of people's income was. I mean, streaming doesn't pay shit, but that's why I've been trying to get better at engineering, and I've been working with people that come to me for mixing their songs. I'm trying to build a clientele, but that takes a long time.
Yeah.
Because that would be my ideal day job, is just to engineer for people and record people and mix.
Hey,
so that's what I want to do really bad.
That's what Nobi does.
Yeah.
He's at what is that, in Edmonds? Studio Sage. I think that's where he works.
Okay. Is he with Digital, right?
Yeah.
You're talking about? Yeah.
He collabed, but he's like he's doing his own thing with the engineering thing. But yeah, him and Digital are definitely pretty tight.
Yeah. Yeah, so hopefully I can get to that point. It's just hard with a day job, but I mean, Elon and Nima were doing that for when I was going there. They were working a day job and then coming out there to mix it, and so that's just kind of what you have to do. It just takes time to get to that point where you can live off it. But yeah, I mean, other than that, and then just trying to get more of a name for myself. I really want to get more involved in the house scene. It's been pretty tough to break into.
Is there like other gatekeepers in EDM music in Seattle?
Yeah, I don't want to talk down on anybody by any means, but you know, it is what people have been DJing at these things for 20 fucking years, so they have like a...
Oh, you're talking about actual DJs, not like EDM. Because there's a difference, right?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the DJs here, they produce too, but a lot of them are mostly DJs and they perform a lot around here. And
yeah, because that's where like I feel like I kind of understand that at the same time, because like when I was working at the station talking to those DJs, like those DJs literally, their livelihood is DJing. So I feel like if you've been DJing for 10, 15 years or even more, you don't want a new person to DJ.
Yeah,
you're like, that's just taking away my
It's
hours.
been really hard to break into, and it hasn't been, I felt like it hasn't been super accepting, and I feel like I do make good music in that realm, and yeah.
Dude, it's the connection thing. That's what I'm saying. Like when I had my DJ mentor, he was like, yeah, I'll help you get into these shows. Like you actually need someone who's an actual DJ.
To network. And I've tried, and I'm still trying. I'm not going to stop trying. Yeah. But I also don't care, because it's not my goal to be here and being local. I mean, I want to perform and DJ, and that's kind of like I want to get into that scene. And if I had to kiss some ass to do it, then I guess it is what it is. But it's definitely not my goal to be a local DJ.
Yeah.
Because I have bigger aspirations. Because it's
for sure.
Yeah, because I wear to be successful as a producer, and what I'm trying to do, you have to wear a lot of hats. Where I engineer, I record people, I make beats, I DJ, I do live sets. It's like a lot of shit.
Yeah. One of my favorite guests, I actually saw when I was in LA, Nug Life. I don't know if Nug Life's listening, but if you are listening, Nug Life. How Nug Life built up his client, like his guest on his albums, which he's like cold called him, like now he's working with like Dizzy Wright and Underachievers.
Oh wow! Had
Planet Asia and Vel the Wonder on the same song. Like,
wow!
And he literally just cold called all these people, and he's dope. Nug Life.
Yeah, you guys. That saying goes back to making your own opportunities. So yeah.
And you literally have Lorelai in LA, like those are your songs you help make,
Yeah, exactly.
So people are going to listen to those in LA when she can.
And that's where like a lot of that whole EP has been mostly LA.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh,
like
shit.
the listeners in there. So
You have no idea who's listening in LA.
yeah,
That's
exactly.
crazy.
So I'm just like, that's why I want to get down there and just try.
What did she move for? Is she there for music solely?
Yeah, she's there for music.
See.
And her manager, Austin Santiago, lives down there too.
That's dope.
So they've been making moves for sure.
A lot of exciting things coming, man.
Yeah, and I mean, when we put that EP out, that was the first time I didn't have to do everything my fucking self, because Austin, her manager, was helping. So that was the first time I actually had like a little team to work with, and it was really refreshing. And it sucks that I have to go back to doing everything myself, but hopefully one day a manager will come along.
You got it. I'm telling you, you're part of the NAST community. That means something
NAST
here in
community.
Seattle.
You got to have a button for that, the NAST community.
NAST. But yeah, man, I'm excited you're on the podcast. It's been too long, even though you had no idea what the fuck. I've known you for 2 years, man.
It's good to meet you, man. Yeah, I appreciate you bringing me out, dude.
Of course. Well, man, what is some advice that you have for up-and-coming artists, creators, influencers?
Yeah, just going back to just making your own opportunities. Don't wait around for someone to come knocking. You need to knock on the doors, and again, that's how I've gotten most of my opportunities, is just making contact, making an attempt, and the worst thing someone can say is no. So
yeah, and beware of this fault line in the
watch
Pacific
your back.
Northwest. There we go. What is the easiest way for people to reach you?
You can literally, my handle everywhere is at Samurai Del. A lot of people struggle to spell samurai, so I'll spell it out for you. SAMURAIDEL. And then I have a website, samuraidel.com as well. And if you're in the Seattle area, definitely come out to a show if you see me.
Hell yeah. This is the NAST podcast with
Samurai Del.
And we did it.
Doot, 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 doot.
Doot, doot.